Why Tren? The Cancerian with the vision. A hoodie in the bucket hat is often his decision. Why high? A king from Queens, you never disrespect. The wise OG, but what else would you expect? Why Dame? The flyest and the highest of them all. You need a perfect shot, he's the one that you should call. All three combined in a little of your time. Welcome to the show and let him ease your mind.
It doesn't matter when we are or where we are because we are.
Because we are.
Because we are better than
because
them.
We are.
Because we are.
Because we are. Because we are. Because we are.
So another cool thing is the Ryan Coogler movie Sinners came out this week. Well, last week, I guess. It seems to be doing really well. Obviously, I saw it. Did you guys see it?
Yep, I saw that shit. I saw it, what, Saturday?
Got you. See it, and you're not gonna go see it, correct?
I'm not gonna go see it. I mean, we shared. I don't know if it was. Yeah, it was a Patreon only that we did watch the trailer for it, and no, it didn't. It didn't hit my.
It didn't intrigue you.
Yeah.
So what happens to you? What happens to like? What are your trusted sources when like? What will make you go see something that you don't necessarily?
It's actually a really good question, and I'm honestly. This is gonna sound a little fucked up, but nobody who's like opinion in movies that I like trust has told me to watch it yet. And even if they did, I still saw the trailer and I was just like, I'm not gonna. I'm just not intrigued. It just doesn't hit me that way. But maybe y'all having this conversation about it will help it. But who knows? We'll see. You know, and I'm not saying that like y'all telling me to watch it isn't like enough. It's more so it's just I don't know. I know when I'm not gonna like something. You know, I just know when I'm not gonna like something for real. But
so I think there's a certain element of like. I don't want to say the word is backlash, but like this kind of like anti-zeitgeist that happens when too many people like something, where it makes it less likely for certain other types of people to want to like it or want to check it out, because it's almost like I don't trust you niggas' opinions with most things. So if you like it, then by proxy, I'm probably not gonna like it. You know what I mean? And like, I do find that I do see like that happening a lot with this movie, where people are pulling.
I don't see that at all. But yeah.
Well, what I've seen is that people are pulling shit out of the movie that I don't even think was really intended. It's kind of like a Kendrick album, where like people be assigning meanings to things that probably is not what that meant. It probably was just like a cool thing. But there is a lot of depth to it. There is a lot of like, you know what I mean, layers. But it's not a deep movie. It's not like a super complex movie. But it is a well thought out.
I mean, look,
film. You
have a movie that's directed by Ryan Coogler.
Yep.
You know, it's set in the Jim Crow era, right? It has like some of the biggest hot stars right now. Of course, it's gonna have some like, you know, some deeper things to pull out. You know, and that's usually like the case with a lot of like black led movies. You know, like there's always like other things to pull out. There's always some like deeper meanings of deeper historical racial context to like pull out, some societal, you know, themes and messages usually that you have to pull out. That's like a normal thing with like big. Would you say this is like is this what? I don't know if it's not AAA. This is like what was the budget for this movie? This is like a big budget movie.
80 or 90 million.
It was 90 million. I don't necessarily. I wouldn't consider that like a high budgeted movie.
Okay.
I think that's about
this is imaginary numbers at that point. Once you start talking about fucking millions and billions and stuff like that, I'm just like this.
I mean, and most of it is I think, you know, and Dame probably could speak better to this, but it was shot in IMAX. You know what I mean? And shit, that alone, the film, all that stuff, you need $1 million budget just for the film, right? You need $1 million budget just for the equipment and stuff like that. So I think a lot of it is just on the screen as far as like, because there were some I mean, there was like special effects and stuff like that, but it wasn't like, again, it was a people movie. It was like a movie with people and like doing cool shit.
It wasn't set place in like the city where they had to block
Right.
off like streets and avenues and
Right.
like have police escort, or none
Right,
of that
built
shit.
the set. Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed like very much it could have been on, I don't know where they shot it, but some of those scenes, like when Smoke and I think it was just Smoke. When Smoke was in the town, he shot that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that looks like it could have been on one of those like Hollywood stages.
That might
like,
have been that might have been a set. Yeah.
Like a studio. When niggas are walking around, you'll see videos like nigga walking around with random ass horse and niggas with astronaut suits behind him and all that shit. Like it seemed like it was just one of those big ass stages, but when they were at the actual like the juke or that seems like the only place that was like shot on location, because I've seen the behind the scenes of like them actually in that like lake area and lighting everything on fire. So and still like that seems like it's not really where they had to like block off or like get a bunch of permits and stuff to get permission to shoot there or anything.
Yeah, I know 50 Cent actually just built a studio in like Mississippi or some stuff like that. Like he's doing the Tyler Perry thing, but like in Mississippi, which I actually think is very cool because, it helps the local economy there, and like it's cheaper to film in certain places like that. So I don't think that had anything to do with this per se, but you're probably right. They probably really just did rent out a big ass warehouse and was like, yeah, we're gonna film here and just kind of like make it real and grounded.
I'm not sure how expensive it is to shoot. I'm not a film like a classic film guy, so I'm not sure how much that it costs to shoot in IMAX. But I know I saw in one of there's two things that made me go see this film, and they were both Ryan Coogler involved. Like it had nothing to do with any of the major stars they had in it. It was just interview stuff. I saw Ryan Coogler. First thing I saw was him breaking down film in general, like each strand of film. All right, this is 8mm, this is 16, this is super film, this is IMAX, this is the difference, this is how big it is, these are what each one of the spokes are. Like, I thought that was really cool. And for him to ultimately break it down to like, oh yeah, we were shot on IMAX, and to see like the difference and him showing the difference in ratios, you don't see directors doing that often.
Yeah.
And then the second thing that inspired me to go see it was how he was talking about the references to Puss in Boots, and how a lot of the character design and a lot of like the theme of the movie was inspired by Puss in Boots, and how big of a fan he is of animated cartoons or
the last
adult
one
cartoons.
The last one that they made with the werewolf or whatever like that, because I heard that one was really good. A lot of people like that one. Like the animation in that one was really good.
Yeah, that one exactly. Like the eyes of the werewolf and how they glowed. Like that's how he got the inspiration to do with all the vampires and this shit.
I think that same clip is what made me want to go see it, because we watched the trailer and we all said, this looks cool, but it wasn't like
that. We didn't all say that.
Well, nah, we didn't all say that, but it was kind of
I don't even remember seeing it, honestly.
We watched it on Patreon.
You don't remember when the nigga said that? I'm gonna repeat it.
Don't. This is clipped. Don't say it. That was on Patreon. If people want to hear it, they can go back to the clip and they can watch it.
Okay.
What I said is I don't want to see I don't want to see movies about black people during Jim Crow anymore. That's all I was saying. That's the gist of what I said.
Okay. If that's what you're rolling with.
That's basically what I said. Yeah. Like I want to see black people in the future or modern times. I don't want to hear people with, accents and during the Jim Crow law. That's all. That's what I said. Basically. Gotcha. That's the gist, the overall arching point of what I said. Yeah. But yeah, tell us about the movie, man. What Cornbread was doing, man. What Cornbread and them was doing.
So
is a nigga named Cornbread in that?
Is a nigga named Cornbread in the movie for sure.
Damn. I thought that
basically the movie's about these two brothers, Smoke and Stack, who are from Mississippi.
And both played by Michael B. Jordan?
Both played by one is played by Michael B. Jordan, the other's played by Michael C. Jordan. And they moved to Chicago, made big money during like organized crime era.
They didn't really get into details about like
why. Oh, I found out. There's lore.
Okay.
Yeah. There was
because it's very interesting. Like they didn't really get into like what actually happened over. They kind of did towards the end when the vampire took over and he kind of spilled the beans a little bit, but it's very interesting.
So what essentially happened, and again, this is spoilers. This actually isn't spoken about in the movie. It was more in the promo material. But essentially, Smoke and Stack robbed the National Bank of that county or whatever town they from. You know, like New Jersey National Bank, whatever, right? They robbed the bank and basically left town. When they got to, they moved to Chicago. When they got in Chicago, they met up with Al Capone and they started running money and drugs for Al Capone. But when Al Capone got arrested in 1929, I think it was, they were still working with the Irish Mafia and the Italian mob. And eventually they basically started a war between the Mafia and the mob and stole everybody's money and went back to Mississippi. So that's why they're in Mississippi. They're on the run from the Irish Mafia and the Italian mob. So when the movie starts,
that's tough.
Yeah, it's gangster, right? It's like when the movie starts, everybody like, damn, yo, Smoke and Stack is back in town. Like the last time anybody saw these niggas, they was on the run from the police. And then they heard all these stories about the shit that they were doing in Chicago, and now they're back. So everybody's scared. Like these niggas is dangerous, bro. So they come back in town, they got all this money. They purchase a warehouse. I think it was a slaughterhouse for cows or something like that. They purchased this property and basically said, look, we're just gonna make a juke joint. We're gonna bring the money back to the city. A lot of the people that work in that area are like plantation workers, you know, folks are still picking cotton and stuff like that. They're sharecroppers essentially. So they're like, yeah, we just gonna make a club where our people could just come and relax, have a good time. Our little cousin, he know how to sing, he gonna set the show right, blah blah blah. And like that's pretty much the gets everybody to the thing. You meet all these other characters. You meet Smoke's old girl. You meet Stack's old girl. You know, there's a lot with them. Played by Hailee Steinfeld. She plays a white passing woman named Mary, but she's actually black, I believe. And Smoke's girl is played by Wunmi Osaka. Her name is Annie. She's into hoodoo. She's into like a lot of mysticism stuff. And
I thought that was his mama at first.
Everybody keeps saying that. And I don't know. I saw Lovecraft Country. So when I see Wunmi Osaka, I'm not thinking Mammy. I'm thinking if you've seen Lovecraft Country, then you know the role that she played in Lovecraft Country. She was a sexual object in that show as well. So yeah, when I see her, I don't see like
Just the way she was talking to him.
Yeah, I get it, but I didn't see it at first, and then they make it very clear that that's not their relationship. Their relationship is quite intense in some other ways. So that gets everybody from point A to point B. Side story is the little cousin's father is a preacher and doesn't want him to play the blues because, you know, the blues is the devil's music and blah, blah, blah. There's that element of it. And they just said, no, you know, we're going to get this juke joint together. We're going to invite all our people. And yeah, they have a juke joint and it's a amazing time. Everyone's having a great time. The music is amazing. But that music, the kind of roar of the crowd attracts these creatures of the night, essentially. And they look at them and they're like, yeah, we gonna kill all these motherfuckers. And the story beyond that, you know, is obviously there's a lot more to it. That's a very basic version of it. But the movie itself, to me, was a 10 out of 10. I loved it. I thought it was the plot, the characters, the cinematography, the music. The music was incredible. Ludwig Göransson did the music. You love Ludwig Göransson. He did Camp for Childish Gambino. He's done a bunch of soundtracks. He's been an incredible scorer for over a decade now. He put his fucking foot into that soundtrack. it's in a genre that I have no interest in listening to, which is the blues, but it's very it kind of gives me Beyonce Cowboy Carter vibes a little bit, which it made me go back and listen to Cowboy Carter again with a different set of ears. So that was pretty cool. But definitely the best acting Michael B. Jordan has ever done.
I agree. Yeah.
The one thing I can say is I might not give it a 10 out of 10. I might give it a 9.8 out of 10. I'm going to remove 0.2 points because that nigga can't do a country accent to save his life. He didn't know if he wanted to be from Oakland, from LA, Baltimore, Louisiana. He switched it up so many times. It was very unconvincing. Now, mind you, he's standing there with Hailee Steinfeld, who gives probably the blackest accent, like the greatest blaccent ever captured on film. She has some of the best lines of the movie, and she absolutely would have passed the test if you know how like they do those like blind tests.
Give me some of the quotables. Give me some.
Damn,
you gotta do it in her accent too.
No, you got it. You're on a roll right now.
You want me to? All right, I'll go.
Yeah.
There was one part where the little cousin, played by Miles Caton, what was his name? I can't remember. It's escaping me.
In the movie,
Sammy? Yeah, it was Sammy. Sammy walks up to Mary, played by Hailee Steinfeld, and says, "Hey, I'm with the twins. I don't think you should be here right now." And she goes, "The twins? Boy, if you don't get the fuck out of my face," I swear to God, I was like, I hear my people, but I don't see my people. It was so on point for, honestly, it's almost like that shit, you couldn't even practice it. It was so perfect. Another line she had said, 2 stack, they were getting into it. He was like, "Yo, you gotta go. If you don't leave, I'm gonna make you leave." And she says, "Who gonna put me out? You taught me how to fight. I'll beat up every bitch in here." Whoa. 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 Is this Josh Allen's girl?
The dialect coach, man.
Yo, give them a fucking raise.
Give them a raise.
Because bro, I swear to God, like, yo, is she just light skinned? Honestly, I was fooled throughout the whole movie. So when you look at the promo and it's literally just, she's back to being Hailee Steinfeld, I'm telling you, I was confused.
Shamika's like, see? I told you. I told you I loved her.
For sure. For sure. I know Shamik is not doing the right things to that movie. I know he's in a dark corner.
Really dark place, man.
Yeah, he's in a
I've seen the videos of Hailee and Michael on their little press run, and they give off totally different vibes than when Hailee and Shamik were on there.
Oh man.
I saw the memes that was like flirting versus sexual harassment.
Oh yeah.
And Michael B. Jordan, that's
totally different vibes, yo. Totally different vibes. Yeah, and I'm putting all my money on Josh Allen this year, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, he got to come correct, bro.
He about to.
He has got to come correct. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way, because it was, again, there was a lot of very intense scenes, and the reason why I think eventually, if you did see it, you would enjoy it, because I think that movie was for the freaks. Honestly, I do. I think that movie was for the freaks. Ryan Coogler, I know what you are. Okay? This is the first original property that you've done in a very long time. Not a true story, not an adaptation of a screenplay or a comic book or anything like that. I know what you are, brother. And I respect it. I'm not hating at all, but I know what you are. That movie is a little horny. It's quite horny, for sure.
Nah,
look, now you kind of
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Now you kind of perked up a little bit.
No. Like, I'm just listening to you. I think it's funny.
I want Damon to give his
Dave, tell me.
For me, it was Miles Caton. For me, was standout in this movie for sure. His voice is that how he actually sounds?
That's how he actually sounds.
His voice is so unique. I don't know how old he is, like in real life. I don't know. Was he like 20? I think.
Yeah, he's pretty young.
Yeah, but apparently he had to like teach himself how to play the guitar. He was practicing for hours for the last several months, and he bodied it. I know at the end, I'm not sure if you stayed till like the very, very last end credit scene where he was kind of just doing his solo shit. But I mean, the one scene where I think is everybody's, I think, favorite standout scene, the long one take shot where he's doing the performance at the juke. And it's just spiraling, and they're going through different generations in different eras and all that stuff, and how it circles back to him and his performance. It was just so fucking amazing, and you could just really feel his fucking voice and his performance. I didn't know if like that was really him. I didn't know if that was like a backtracking or something, but to come and find out that that's actually that kid, and that kid's super talented, bro. He definitely shined in that film.
Apparently,
considering all the stars that he was surrounded by,
and it's his first role, his first acting job ever. So he is a background singer. He worked with her for many years. So his music came first. The acting was just kind of part of the thing. He auditioned, and got the role. But yeah, even his speaking voice, there was just something super unique about his tone. And when he starts singing, you fucking feel it because he puts a lot into it, and it is really incredible.
That's what you need for like blues type, that type of music. You need like that voice, right? To feel the pain, to feel the.
He sounds a lot like Aloe Black. A lot of people thought it was like Aloe Black doing the voice, and maybe he's just acting, but nah, that's all him. And he from New York, and when you hear him in interviews, he sounds like fucking Chef G. Like he sounds like one of these YNs, bro. It's crazy because it's just very different. It's just very different. He's incredible though. So I definitely agree with you there, Dame.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan was also really good. One thing that pissed me off, it's like the very first scene that you meet these two motherfuckers. It's like they're showing off their technology. Like, look at us pass the joint back and forth.
Yeah, it was.
It's like, yo. There's no need to show them passing the joint back and forth 4 times.
Yeah.
There's no need to. It's like just them flexing, like, hey, look, we're doing it.
Look how seamless
we can do it.
This exposure technique is. It was
like they didn't cut away or nothing. It just stayed on that shot.
And they panned and everything, like they were because they were. You talking about when they were in the car, right?
When they just got out the car and Slick just got done rolling. And he's passed it to him, and that's like their intro shot. There was
another shot when they're actually driving the car, and the camera is literally panning from one side to the other, and I'm literally like, everything I know, which is not much, but everything I know about how you make that shot feels like this should be impossible, and they pulled it off so incredibly. That's why a lot of people are calling it Michael B. Jordan and Michael C. Jordan, because it had to be two niggas. Yeah. There's no possible way that he was standing there with a doll or something like that.
I love the fact that they didn't keep them together the entire movie. It almost feels like for half the movie they were kind of separated because you know he goes to see Ann and he goes into town to get Slim with Sammy.
Yeah.
So you really got to see the range from there's 1 minute he's on the brink of tears and fucking. And then on the other side, he's on the other side of town,
laughing and joking,
and joking around with all the common folk. So it's crazy just to see that, like, and to see him do it well outside of like how you may feel about his accent. But I feel like this is some of the best stuff I've seen Michael B. Jordan do. I think he's hit a certain stride when it comes to like maybe it's just him and Ryan Coogler together, but even the stuff that he did with the Tom Clancy stuff, that stuff was pretty good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
like I enjoyed the stuff he did. I enjoyed what he did with that. So I think he's really starting to catch his stride in terms of like what roles to take on, what really suits him.
What do you give it out of 10?
Out of 10, I do want to see it again, so it's definitely high. Probably like 9. I give it a 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna. I'm actually gonna go see
There's not that
it.
many movies that make me go want to see it again while it's still in theaters.